How to make Little Monsters jacket. We start with just doing a regular cast on. Once you cast on the required number of stitches, you start knitting. So this jacket uses knit stitch only. And so we just keep knitting until we've knitted the required number of rows for the back of the jacket. So when you're done, make sure you count the rows. And then now we're going to split the two front panels. For your first panel, you just keep knitting until you hit the middle. So we have equal number of stitches on each needle. So what we do now, we simply, we're going to ignore half of the stitches and only work with the other half. So flip it over. And then you'll just keep going, knitting back and forth. So you're going to knit exactly same number of rows that you did for the back. You're knitting the same number of rows for the front, except you're only working with half of the stitches. So we're just working on our first front panel. And we're still only using just the knit stitch. So you flip it and now you can kind of see where that split happened. So the more rows you knit, the more pronounced it will be. So those stitches are just staying there. We're ignoring them. We're just using the needle to knit the first panel. So now we're going to flip it again. And again, we're only working with that one panel. We will go back to the other panel later. So we just keep knitting. We're just doing one panel at a time. So when you cast off your first panel, we are going to seam the sides and pick up for the sleeves. First, you have to find that middle point. So this is exactly the middle of your jacket. And now you're going to count these little bumps for the sleeves. So you want to do 7 on each side and then mark it with a stitch marker or just a piece of string. So we counted 7 bumps on each side on the shoulder area. So this is going to be your armhole. And now you can align the remainder of the jacket, and we're going to the side seam. So for this jacket, it has a little slit on the bottom, and it's up to you how long you want to make it. So just for security, I like to tie the yarn. You can untie it later when you're weaving in. And now we're just seaming. So basically find these bumps and put the yarn through that bump, and you just alternate one side and another side, and make sure that you just always insert like pull the yarn through in the same direction so that everything looks nice and even. And don't go too fast, go a little bit slow. Make sure um, you don't damage the yarn while pulling it through. So now we're getting closer to the armhole. And here we are, just one more. So this is how your seam looks like. And then we have the slit. So if you're working with 2 sets of needles, you can pick up your second set and use it for the sleeve. If you only have 1 needle, you will need to finish that second panel first. So in this case, we have an extra set. And make sure you pick up clockwise in the same direction for both sleeves. So first attach the yarn, and I like to just secure it with a knot. You can untie the knot later when you're weaving in the ends. And then so find those bumps that you counted and insert the needle through. Then take the yarn over and pull it through, and that's it. In, yarn over, pull it through. In, yarn over, pull it through. So this makes a very secure connection of your sleeve to the garment. Another way would be to knit the sleeve separately and then attach it, but we feel this way it's a lot more secure and seamless, and it just looks nicer. And it's a quite useful technique to know. You can use it on a lot of sweaters and cardigans, and then you just keep going all the way around until you hit your second mark. So this is what it looks like when you're done picking up on both sides. Make sure to double check always to make sure that you have the right number of stitches. And here we're ready to start knitting. So you're going to use a knit stitch. Going all the way around using knit stitch will give you a stockinette look. So this jacket has essentially reversible sleeves. On one side you will get the, the, the knit look, and on the opposite side you'll get the purl look. So depending on which side you wear it, you have a different looking sleeve. And you just keep knitting until you're ready to cast off. Then you repeat for the other side. So how to start working on your second panel. So we're in the middle. We're taking a piece of yarn. Again, for security, we like to tie it, and you can untie it later when you're weaving in your ends to have a cleaner look. So now you just start knitting, and this is your second panel. It has exactly the same number of rows as the first, and you just keep knitting until you're ready to cast off, and then you attach the second sleeve exactly the same way. And this is what the final project looks like, Little Monsters jacket.